Hi everyone, welcome to the first of the TCF, so Torquay Christian Fellowship Mental Health Chats. I hope you're all doing okay in this time of isolation, and I kind of see it as a great opportunity to really start to think about our mental health well-being. And one of the things Danny and I were sort of chatting about is, in particular, what is mental illness, and do Christians have to work on their mental health? Well, the answer is quite simple. Yes, we do. If you don't know who I am, I'm actually a mental health educator. So I spend most of my days, except not now, but on the technology, teaching people about mental illness. And one of the most important things is to understand that, the stigma that we associate with mental illness has to go away. It's a little bit like thinking tonight, if you were cooking and you cut your finger and, suddenly there's blood. I would guarantee adults would know what to do. And the reason being is you were taught about your physical body. Similarly, you know the signs and the symptoms of a cold. Well, a mental illness is no different. It's a diagnosable illness. And there is treatment and recovery, And so we have to stop thinking that mental illness is about asylums and institutions. In fact, I'm a person that's experienced mental illness, and some of you may have heard me share sort of my own story and my own journey of recovery. So over the next couple of weeks, and I think we'll be working about 6 weeks, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've learned along the way, both personally, but also as an educator from science, but to show how God knew we were going to have issues with our mind. And I think the first scripture that Danny chose for me to talk to today is from 2 Timothy 1:7 in the New King James Version. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. And that mind will get challenged from time to time. Now, interestingly, if we think about what happens in our mind, every day on average we have 60,000 thoughts that go through our brain. So our brain's a little bit like a train station. And some of those thoughts we act on, some of them we just let them float like clouds and we don't worry about them. But what we do know with a mental illness is that it will affect our thoughts, our emotions, and in turn our behaviour. So some of those fast-flying trains that go through our brain in actual fact become like dark puffing billies, and they're slow and they're black, and they can be full of toxic thoughts that in turn create toxic emotions, that in turn see our behaviour maybe making choices and doing things we ordinarily in a well state of mind wouldn't do. Now, I kind of think that that's quite interesting, particularly when we look at so much scripture where God actually said to us, above all things, look after your physical body, but guard your mind. So he knew we were going to have challenges with our thoughts and with the temptations that's come with that. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to set a bit of homework for you. And the first one is, I'd like you to start to talk about your worries and talk about them and express them. Now, if you don't have anyone to do that with, that's okay. You can do that by writing. You can do that by journaling, or you can actually just talk to God. And the important thing is that if there's someone listening to them, don't ask them at this stage to fix it. Just be vulnerable, because it's in that vulnerability that we will find our strength. And I can guarantee that's where I found my strength in my recovery model, which is hope. And hope is the center of recovery. So please this week, don't see vulnerability, anxiety, worries about the current state of the world as a sign of weakness. Rather share that, share our vulnerabilities, because we from that will only grow. see you all next week, and I hope this little film is a good way to connect us together. Take care. Blessings. Bye.